This is Consume, the podcast for real estate agents who are tired of hearing the same old industry stuff and want to experience something completely different.
There is a good push and there's a bad push. And the experience that I had on the buying of my new house that we will be closing on soon is a push, but based on my interest of getting the house and what I needed to do, or what my wife and I needed to do to secure that house.
Okay.
So it's a push, but not a push to in a direction that we didn't want to go in.
Okay. So what's the bad touch?
The bad touch is somebody that, we were recommended, that touted that they were knowledgeable about an area that we found that they had absolutely no knowledge of. And there's one thing that when I was thinking about when I was coming on here, is something that I found very interesting is, when I was thinking about working with a real estate agent, I thought that they were going to be completely on top of what is out there. And the second it's available, I should be aware of that. But on the negative side, I felt like I was finding out what was available and then bringing it to them.
Have you ever worked with an agent that has their own portal? And what I mean by that is their own system in which they are operating collaboratively from that system. So an example would be there's certain brokerages that have a unified collaborative system where that agent sends you a link. You then can log in. You can see all of the properties that are currently available. You can comment on things. The agent on their end sees those comments live time and can respond back. So you're actually in that. Have you ever had that experience or no?
So no, but I think that is an absolute home run for agents, because on the mortgage side, you do have that. So you have the portal of all the documents. These are outstanding. You need to sign these. So being able to have a portal of all of the disclosures, the contracts, every document, the plot map or whatever that's coming with associated property, I think is an absolute home run for real estate agents in this day and age. But on the real estate agent side, I have not seen that, besides like harding it on MLS.
So, okay, so that's really helpful, I think, for agents to hear and understand, because from a consumer perspective, those portals and those types of engagements exist. I think good agents will use that type of experience because it also brings you into, right, our world as an agent to be able to have that type of a relationship where we're all working from the same sheet of music. So I think that's a really big helper for people to hear and understand.
When I spoke with the agent I ended up going with, that agent explained, like, look, I have two options for you. Either we can go with the 6%, which is normal for our area, and it'll get split 3 and 3. And she was telling me up front it would be an even split. So not like she would have the control over that, but it would be 3-3 split.
Yep.
And she said, or you can choose not to list a commission for the buyer's agent. And you'll have a little bit more control. And we kind of talked through like pros and cons to that, especially in terms of, well, if you don't list what the commission is for the other agent, they might be less likely to want to show it to their client. Ultimately, and keep in mind, like in my practice law life, I did a lot of settlement negotiations. So there was a large part of me that was like, no, I want control over this.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to make a determination, and it's funny when you talk about partnership, like, yes, I appreciate that idea of partnership, but also I am somebody who in my life has been paid for my expertise. And I also want somebody that I can pay for their expertise, right? Like,
Yep.
I know, okay, you have something that you're bringing to the table that I don't have, and I'm
Right.
trusting you with that.
Yep.
So I'm looking for a partner in the sense of you're listening and hearing me, but also I want you to give me advice. I want you to be able to tell me what you think is best here, So we talked about commission in that sense. And, to be perfectly frank with you, I don't mind saying I ended up paying the 6%, but the fact that I had the ability to control that and determine that meant a lot to me.
So at any point though, and again, this is not good, bad. We're not we're not doing the Game of Thrones, like shame, on anybody. But at any point, did the agent explain to you the separation between compensation, meaning like my fee is X and you can do whatever you want to do on the other side is completely up to you, in a way that helped you better understand something that we talk a lot about, which is there is no real combined number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the second agent did, right? We
They
talked a
did.
lot about that.
Okay.
And there was a lot of space for me to ask questions and kind of discuss like, okay, I'm okay with your set amount, but then what does this look like? And having the room to say, well, when you go into the negotiation with the potential buyer, like you can say, well, I'm gonna, offer 2% of the commission and XYZ, or, it's part of the total package that you're negotiating. And so we talked about that in that
Okay.
context.
When you think of the word real estate agent, what's the first thing that pops in your head?
That's a great question.
The fact that you even paused, by the way, and started thinking about this lets me know that you're already filtering what's probably already popped in your head. But go ahead.
No, I've been on both sides. I've had experience with really good real estate agents and not so good real estate agents. So when you say what's the first thing that pops into my mind, it's tough because I've had those two experiences. So one I see on the more the negative side is like, this is a hobby that somebody's just trying to, either stay busy or try to make a little bit of money. They're not necessarily like actively doing this as a career or a business. That's one that I would say on the negative side. But on the good side, I would say that, someone that is just ultimately fighting for your best interests. And at no point, really trying to push something that feels like they are just trying to get this deal done.
If you were ever going to become a real estate agent, what would be one thing that you would do that you think would set you apart from other people?
Well, I think that something that I've learned in my own career is really understanding what my client is truly trying to achieve. What do they ultimately want, and be able to tie my value to those desires, right? Is it getting the right house? Is it getting the best price? What do those things really mean so that I can effectively bring them to the table? If it's really cash or money constraint, maybe I come and talk about, hey, we can talk about the commission piece to make it better for you, right? So just really understanding what's most important to your client and then structuring the deal to match that.
You show up, you put a smile on. Why? Because you love what you do and you love helping people. And you can't find that much anymore. It's a business and an industry. And I just wish there were more brokerages out there that would support that part of what you do, and do it well. Because that I haven't found yet. I don't see
you just got to keep going. You just got to have the faith that it's business will get better if business is down, that you're doing the right thing, even though your client may think that you're not doing enough. You just keep going. You just keep going.
There's always people who need help.
Yeah. As we wrap, if you had one message for the people that haven't experienced working with you yet, what would it be?
I want them to think of me as their big sister. Like, I will go to the mat for them. I will protect them. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to be honest with them. I'm going to tell them something they may not want to hear. And they look at me and they're like, I'm so excited about this house. I'm just as excited in that moment.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that they're going to learn a lot, and they're going to have fun along the way. I was with a client last night and he said, yeah, I didn't think it would be fun, but it was really fun. So and that's like the highest compliment, because I could tell you stories about his particular transaction. Kind of like Lisa Marie.
You made it fun, Barbara. It wasn't the transaction that made him fun.
I try to tell that to everybody, all my clients. There should be an element of fun in real estate. I mean, maybe not always, but I really strive for that. And the other thing I would tell people is real estate is a conversation. It's not a destination. It just starts with a conversation. And you should ask all the questions, all of the questions. There's no bad questions, and you can ask them twice. And if you don't get an answer that you understand, you should ask it again, or maybe ask somebody different. It really, yeah. It's the biggest financial decision most people will ever make in their lives. And they should ask all the questions, and they should feel respected and heard.
Oh, absolutely. I always say to my clients that in any transaction, there's some really high highs and some really low lows. And I'm really good at work. My job is to kind of make that delta just a little bit smaller.
I like that you set expectations.
And hopefully everybody listening to this heard professionals.